Hello, hello. Welcome to my live stream. I've never actually done this on YouTube before, so I'm hoping it works. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm just going to pull up my notes here. Yeah, I have never done this before, so this is a first for me. So, one of the things I wanted to be talking about today, I'll get a lot of questions from new massage therapists, or they're working for somebody else and they want to go and start their own business, but they don't know where to start. And besides all the obvious things like licensing and things like that, that's really easy. You can just do a simple Google search to find out what you need. I'm going to really talk about today some of the things that you really need to know about going solo in 2026, and some of the things that I have done in my own business that I've had for the last almost 18 years. I've had my own massage and spa business that has been very successful. I only work 2 to 3 days a week, making over 6 figures. And for me, it's just the natural next step in order for me to share my knowledge and help other people coming after me, that I can help them with their businesses as well. So, hi, I think we just had someone join us. So, hi. So just a quick introduction of who I am. My name's Helen Azebian, and you'll find me on Instagram, but you'll also find me under my business name as well, because I practice what I preach. So I want people to be able to see that I'm building the business while I'm coaching others. And you can see how I'm using my own social media to get clients. And that is pretty much it for that. So today, I want to talk about what really matters when you want to start your own business. I get a lot of questions from people who are working for other people and they're sick of making money for others, and they really want to start their own business and start making income for themselves. Because let's be honest, you don't have much freedom when you're working for others, as well as, like, why would you want to be putting money in someone else's pocket when you can be putting it in your own and earning more money? I'm all about earning as much money as you can in this industry, because that's going to give you longevity for the long term. I see so many massage therapists who are burnt out in the first year or even 3 years, and I don't want that to happen. And this often happens when therapists go working for other people and they don't know where to start, or they don't have the confidence to start. And this is why I'm here, because this is why I'm stepping into my next level as a mentor and coach, to be able to help you get to where I am, so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. So hopefully that makes sense. And by the end of this live, you're going to have some clarity on where your focus needs to be, and hopefully take some pressure off. You feeling like you have to do everything at once. And I know that a lot of people are focusing on the wrong things. They're worrying about the wrong things. They're not confident in what they're doing. And if there's anything that I can promise you, you have what it takes to go on your own. You really, really do. And here's why I know how. I never went into a clinic. I actually started out with my own business right from the get-go. However, the caveat here is I did have an HR background, so I knew a little bit about business already. I also have a husband who is a graphic designer, so he was able to help me with my logo and a lot of the professional things behind the scenes. So that up front. Now, most massage therapists, when they think about going solo and going out on their own, they think that they have to have all of these things all up front, like the perfect website or funnel, or have to have all of this fancy equipment, or you think that you have to have like a fancy spa or a fancy setting or a fancy room, and none of those things are true. People think they need fancy photo shoots or more certificates or a big social media following, and none of that is true. In fact, I even started my own Instagram recently, because I had just made a complete shit show of my own Instagram. And I'll be completely honest, that I decided to go and start it from scratch again. So I actually started building up my Instagram a lot more intentionally and a lot more consciously. And it has been a game changer in my business. I'm starting to get clients that I'm actually aligned with. I'm starting to get local clients who are actually seeing my content, and I have a complete system in place for getting consistent bookings. So you don't need to do all of those crazy things that you think you do. You really just need to get started. And most people think everything needs to be perfect, and being perfect, it feels productive, right? But all you really need is just the basic foundations. That's it. because all of the other stuff is just going to delay you from going out on your own. And I was recently talking to a massage therapist who's I think has actually just handed in her notice and she's going out on her own. And her and I have been chatting, and I've been super excited to have her, ask some questions and have me help her. And it's really exciting because to watch her now going off and doing exactly what I'm helping other people do is just so empowering for me to witness and watch. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what you should really focus on first. So one of the first things that you really need to focus on is who you're going to help. You need to focus on the audience that you want to target. Now, this doesn't mean you have to niche down and do one specific thing. You really just need to know who you help. Who is it that you help? Do you help busy moms? Do you help athletes? Do you help busy dads? Do you help pregnant women? You may have a complete idea of who you want to help. And the other thing is, what problem do you solve? So most people don't go looking, a lot of people will, but most people who are going to be giving you premium prices, they're not going to care that you just do a 60-minute massage. They want to know what problem you're going to solve. Are you going to help them with their sleep? Are you going to help them feel less stressed? So those are the biggest things to focus on, especially when you are going out on your own. This is going to help you really target your ideal audience instead of just going out there and just being willy-nilly and then massaging everybody and anybody. You're not setting boundaries by doing that, and it's really going to hurt you in the long run. Another thing that a lot of people don't think about is, what hours do you want to work? So a lot of therapists will go out there and they'll just start working every single day, or, well, I need to get the clients, so I've got to work every day because that's what I need to do. And that's also not true. You really need to look at pricing your services profitably. I see too many people discounting their massages, and it really does bring in discount clients. I know from personal experience, that's how I can tell you this. And I can also tell you this, and you can go check. From my own massages, I charge anywhere from $200 to $300 up for my treatments now. I used to charge $80, then I was charging $100, and I was getting to the point where I was just getting burnt out and I couldn't do it anymore. So you really need to figure out how to price your services so that you can be profitable, because profitable services are going to enable you to work less hours. Then you're not cramming in, five clients a day and then working 5 days a week. That's just exhausting, and it'll work for a while, but you'll soon get burnt out doing that. How do I know? Because I did it myself. You also have to think about why somebody should choose you over somebody else. So if you've got two massage therapists who are both doing the same thing, you're both posting that you do 60-minute massages for $100 or whatever it is, what makes you different than the other person down the street? Quite often what I've found for myself is to really stand out from the rest of the crowd is to do something completely different. So charge completely different prices. Offer your services so that you're doing something unique that other people aren't doing. Quite often, the most profitable services are going to come from you doing something completely unique that nobody else is doing, because nobody else is offering it except you. So if there's any piece of advice I can give you that you can take away today, it's that. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is really the most important and critical thing. How do you get eyeballs on your business? That's how you get clients. So a lot of massage therapists are focusing on organic content. So they're taking guru advice, Instagram gurus. I'm not going to name anybody, but I've been in their communities and I've tried their strategies and they don't work. So what are you doing to get eyes on your business? Are you going out and handing out business cards? Well, no one does that anymore. No one even has business cards anymore. Most people are online. So whenever I go to events or I meet people, the first thing I ask them is, what is your Instagram? Can I follow you? Can you follow me back? First thing that we do. The business cards, not so much anymore. The Instagram is where it's at, or whatever you use, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you use as your go-to social media. So you've got two ways that you can do this. You can do this through organic marketing, which is just basically posting on your Instagram, TikTok, wherever. And then you're focusing really on, or you're really at the mercy of the algorithm. So you really don't know where those posts are going to. And the downside of that is it's not really being targeted to the local audience that you're wanting to bring in. So we really need to have a strategy around that. So another thing I want you to think about too is getting eyeballs on your business. If you do have a retail space and you're in the top of a tower, let's say, or you're in a home-based business, you don't have a sign on the door. You have to be able to go and get clients and eyeballs on your business. This was one of the first things that I learned in my own business. Is I've always been home-based. I did do a retail stint while I was renovating my current home, getting it ready for the space of going back into my home-based spa. But here's another interesting thing that I found from my clients, and why you need to let go of this notion that you have to have a fancy space and a fancy room or whatever. Most of my clients actually were really looking forward to me bringing it back into my home, because they liked the fact that it was private. They liked the fact that it was personal. They're not having to go out and see other people when they come out of their treatments. So being home-based for me is what's worked for me. And even being in that retail setting for a short time, my clients were like, when are you going back home? I can't wait till you go back into your home-based setting, because they preferred it. So don't be swept away with thinking that you have to have this fancy space, because it's simply not true. So I'm just going to take a sip here because I've been yapping the whole time. So I think there's a few people on here. So if you have any questions, I think it should let you put something in the chat here. Like I said, this is completely new. I've never done a live on YouTube before. So I'm hoping this works, or you can even hear me. So you can put your questions in here if you have any, but I do have a couple of questions that had been sent to me previously, which I will go over right now. The first question is, how do I know if I'm ready to go solo? Okay. So one of the biggest signs for myself I started off going solo right out of school. So I didn't need to really worry about anything other. I did end up employing staff. I ended up having a staff of 4. So I do have experience also in recruitment, because that is my background in corporate HR. But in terms of going solo, you really will know when you're ready to go solo is when you're done working for other people. Or maybe you're coming fresh out of school and you're like, F that, I don't want to go work for other people and put money in other people's pockets. I'm going to go and work for myself right out the bat. The only downside of that I see is a lot of people have a lot of confidence issues, or they get imposter syndrome. They start looking at what other people are doing and they get so caught up in that they freak out, and then they're like, and then they just copy what everybody else does, because quite often it's safer to copy other people rather than being unique. And that's the kind of thing that I want to help pull out of my students when I open up my membership, which is coming in a few weeks' time. Another couple of key things for knowing if you're ready to go solo: if you're sick of not making enough money, that's just a big sign too. If you really do want to go out there and really start your business as being the therapist that you really wanted to become, you're not going to become that by working for other people. You're just too flattened down by what other people's expectations are, and you'll never truly have the freedom to become the massage therapist that you really want to become if you're stuffed down doing things that other people want you to do. It really will enable you to get the freedom and the confidence to be able to go and actually start the business that you want, work on the clients that you want. I can't tell you how many clients have said, like, I hate the clients that I'm working with, but they don't have a choice because they're working for other people. And the beauty is that when you start working for yourself, you have the power to say no. And I will tell you, I have actually kicked people out of my treatment room because I just didn't jive with them. Actually, it's more than that, but we'll talk about that another time. But I have kicked people out of my treatment room because they've been disrespectful to me. And one of the things that I will not tolerate is disrespectful clients, and that is it. So hopefully that answers that question. How do you know if you're ready to go solo? I would also just make sure that you have the mental capacity to do it. Make sure that you have a little bit of money to invest, because you're going to need that in order to get all your licensing in place. You're going to want to be starting to put systems in place of how to get clients, which is going to be the number one thing. You need to get eyes on your business. You need to start getting clients. And even some massage therapists, they're like couple of years in and they're still struggling to get clients. And that's because you don't have systems in place in order to do that. And that's what I help you do. All right. And another question here. Oh, actually, I just answered this one. Can I do this right out of massage school? Heck, yes, you can. I did that myself. You can, of course, you can start right out of massage school. The only downside that they don't teach you is a lot of the business and marketing side of stuff, which is why I am starting the membership that I'm starting in the coming weeks, because I'm going to teach you all that. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know to get your clients through the door, to keep your clients on repeat, and also how to charge premium for pricing as well. Like a lot of people they just don't know where to start. And then another question that I had here is, how many days should I realistically be working? Well, that's a loaded question, because really, how many days do you want to work? You know, how long is a piece of string? Like how many days do you want to work? Do you want to work 3 days, 4 days? Like for me, 3 days is comfortable for me. On Thursdays, I typically work from noon and it's my late day. So I'll typically work until 7. And then on Fridays, I work a shorter day. I'll maybe work until 11 till 4. And then on Saturdays, I've made the decision that I want to work every Saturday. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like to work Saturdays, and that's okay. You get to choose because it's your business. So I also work every Saturday, but I only work 11 till 4. So that 3 days is a perfect balance of clients for me, but you get to choose. That's the reality, is realistically, how many days do you want to work and how much income do you want to earn? Because ultimately what happens is you get to earn as much or as little as you want to. And that's the beauty about going off on your own versus, you know, earning a percentage or whatever when you're working for somebody else. So hopefully that answers that question. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about, let me just look at my notes here. Yeah, one of the biggest things that I see in my clients, in massage students, is self-trust. So a lot of that can come from being fresh out of school, is fear of charging X amount of dollars. So fear of charging a premium price. So what do? You shrink down and you charge like everybody else. And that's where the comfort is. That's where the safety is. Fear of visibility. A lot of people get frozen in their businesses. They don't know where to start. They get frozen. They want to post. They don't know what to post, or they don't post at all, or they're like, what the hell is no one's commenting, no one's booking anyway. Or this is the worst one of all, the fear of doing it wrong. And the thing is nobody questions yourself as much as you question yourself. Nobody knows if you're doing it wrong, because there is no wrong way. There literally is just going for it, putting one foot in front of the other and starting. That's it. And if you're even thinking about going solo this year or building a business that you want to and attract premium clients, this is something that I'm going to be sharing more about in my upcoming membership that I'm going to be releasing in the coming weeks. Now, I am going to be offering this, and people have said I'm crazy for doing it, but I don't do things what other people say. This is going to be a low ticket thing, because my goal is to help as many massage therapists as possible. I don't need this for the money. I'm just doing this because I want to help, truly. So it's going to be a low ticket offer. So if you're interested in learning more, all you have to do is comment the word waitlist below, and I will reach out with details on that. And alternatively, you can find me on Instagram under my name, which is Helena Zebian. So you can also just DM me there, or you can have a route around on my links there, and you'll find the waitlist link as well. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell. Hopefully that answers some of your questions that you had submitted. And if you have any other questions about going solo or anything else about building a sustainable long-term business, like I have been in business for 18 years now, let me know. Just drop those comments below and I will answer them as best I can. So hopefully that helps you get on your way to going solo this year in 2026. And if there's any way that I can help you, like I said, you can find me on Instagram at my name that's on this video. And any questions that I can answer, I'm always here to answer them for you. So best of luck with going solo in 2026. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I'm going to be sharing lots of goodies coming up in the coming weeks. And I can't wait to share see your progress and follow along. And hopefully you'll come join me in my membership. So have a great rest of the day, and I'll chat with you soon.